Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to be planting this beautiful Autumn Bonfire Encore Azalea into this container right here, and just go through some of the details of how I container plant woody shrub. Autumn Bonfire is the newest variety in the Encore collection. It's solid red. I've done a couple videos on this one. It blooms spring, summer, and fall. The main appeal for me for this one in a container is it's a variety that's good for zone 6. I'm in zone 7B, and when you container plant something, we want something that's not just cold hardy in our zone, but also cold hardy in a zone or two above where we are. That's very, very helpful to the survivability of whatever plant you're using in a container. So keep that in mind. If you're in zone 7, you may want to find something that's good for zone 5B or 6A. I'm in 7B, almost 8, so this is zone 6A Encore Azalea, or it's hardy up to zone 6A. Encore Azalea is perfect for me to use as a container plant. I'm going to be putting it on my front porch, which is quite sunny in the winter time. In the next spring and summer, the sun goes to the other side of my house a little bit. My porch becomes a little too shady. I'm going to take it off the porch and bring it out here on this sidewalk area somewhere so it can get some more direct sun on it. Important things when we're planting a shrub in a container: we need good drainage. This container has about 4 pretty large holes drilled in the bottom of it. At the bottom of it, I've put some pine bark in it, some chunky pine bark. You could use pine bark mulch, pine bark mini nuggets, pine bark soil conditioner, anything like that. You could even use gravel if you can't find pine bark, and put a little layer at the bottom of it just to create a reservoir down at the bottom so the water can kind of escape pretty easily. I've picked a container that is probably about 5 inches bigger root area all the way around from the container that it's in right now. That'll give it plenty of space to stay in this container for a couple seasons, and then I'll put it in the ground, or if I didn't have a place for it, give it to a friend or whatever. Let me show you when I pull this Autumn Bonfire out of the container. This one is not very root bound at all. It does have some roots here that I need to tease for sure and get those broken up some, but overall not too bad. I've got my bark in the bottom of it. I'm going to set the plant in the center of it, and I kind of want the crown of the plant right where it goes into the ground to be level with the top of the container. And then I'm going to take the soil and just kind of go away from it like this in a little bit of a dome shape. So I'm raising it up even in my container planting. Even when I'm container planting shrubs, I'm concentrating on doming them up just a little bit. So the space between the root ball and the edge of the container, you would think you would just use potting soil because, it's logical. Potting soil would be the thing to put in a pot. And that's very true for annuals and flowering things that you really go through a lot of water, because potting soils tend to be peat-based and hold quite a bit of water. The peat moss is perfect for this azalea. This is an acid-loving plant. Great choice for this azalea. I think it would keep it a little too wet though if we used all potting soil. So what I'm going to do is blend some bark into it. This is a bag of potting soil here, and you can see, if I bring this close, hopefully it'll focus on this. This is a potting soil here in this hand, and it's just, it holds together. I can actually squeeze water out of that material, and it's a little bit, the water holding capacity is a little too good. Perfect acidity though. This is pine bark soil conditioner, which like I say, you could use pine bark mini nuggets or something like that. This is just a chunky pine bark. I'm going to mix about 1/3 pine bark with my potting soil, and I think that's about a perfect ratio for container planting a woody shrub like this Encore Azalea. So I have a separate container, and I'll just go back and forth on these materials, and I'll get 2 handfuls of the potting soil and then 1 handful of the pine bark, and just go back and forth. Okay. Then I use the mix to just simply backfill it. So I've got my soil mix in there, and I tamped it down all the way around. I'm about an inch and a half down below on the edge, and the center of the plant right there is more even with the top of the container. I didn't cover anything that wasn't covered. I've domed it up a little bit. These are the exact same principles I use planting plants in the ground. In terms of watering it, this soil mixture, this bark, which is just a really beautiful mix here, of the pine bark and the potting soil, it's black when it's wet, and it becomes kind of a gray color as it dries out. I'll wait till I see that gray coloration across the top of of this container, and then I'll water it really well when I water it. Water it till the water runs out of the bottom of it, And then it's newly planted, so it's not going to need to be watered every day. It's probably not even going to need to be watered every other day. But about every third day, I'll take a good look at it and make sure, you know, I'll see that color change on the top of the soil, and then I'll water it again really, really well. The longer it's in this container, the more demanding it's going to get over time. So probably by late next spring and into the summer, it is probably going to need to be watered pretty much daily at that point. But for this first winter, it will not need to be. But look how beautiful this Autumn Bonfire Azalea is. And it's absolutely loaded with buds. It's going to be blooming for a long time for me this fall. Going to look great up here on my porch for the winter time. And like I say, I'll put it in a little more sun in the spring when my porch goes into the shade. So thank you very much for watching this video. This is the first of many containers I'm going to be doing with some woody shrubs and trees for the winter up here on my porch. And I've got quite a few ornamental flowering things behind me that I'm also working on. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel for those videos. Thanks again for watching.